For more than 2 decades, one man has remained at the center of global politics: military conflict, economic sanctions, diplomatic crises, and nuclear tensions. His name is Vladimir Putin. To supporters, he is the man who restored Russian strength after years of humiliation. To critics, he is an authoritarian ruler who has steadily dismantled political freedoms while pursuing military ambitions that have destabilized entire regions. Whether admired or condemned, one fact is difficult to dispute. Few leaders of the 21st century have influenced world affairs as profoundly as Vladimir Putin. This is the story of the man behind the Kremlin. To understand Putin, you have to understand the Russia he inherited. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, millions of Russians watched their country lose not only territory but also influence, prestige, and economic stability. Factories closed. Inflation wiped out savings. Crime flourished. Many Russians believed their nation had fallen from the status of a global superpower. It was during this period of uncertainty that a relatively unknown former intelligence officer began climbing the political ladder. Vladimir Putin had spent years serving in the Soviet security services before entering politics in the turbulent 1990s. By the end of that decade, he became acting president. Soon afterward, he won the presidency outright. His message was simple: Russia would no longer appear weak.
And he'd been put there by Yeltsin because he was competent, young, sober, but he had no charisma. He'd never made a political speech in his life.
From the beginning, Putin emphasized order, centralized authority, and the restoration of state power. The Kremlin expanded its influence over key industries. Powerful oligarchs who challenged the government were sidelined, imprisoned, or driven into exile. Independent media increasingly came under state control. Supporters argued these measures restored stability after years of chaos. Critics warned they marked the erosion of democratic institutions. Both perspectives would shape Putin's legacy. Beyond Russia's borders, Putin sought to reassert Moscow's role as a major global power. Military modernization became a priority. Defense spending increased. New weapons systems were developed. Russia invested heavily in strategic missile technology, cyber capabilities, and advanced air defense systems. The objective was clear. Russia intended to be treated as a major power once again. That determination became increasingly visible through military action. In 2008, Russia fought a brief war with Georgia. In 2014, Russian forces took control of Crimea following political upheaval in Ukraine, a move widely condemned internationally and followed by sanctions. Years later, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, triggering Europe's largest armed conflict since the Second World War. The war transformed global politics. Millions were displaced. Thousands lost their lives. Western nations imposed sweeping sanctions. NATO strengthened its eastern defenses and expanded with new members. The conflict also reshaped energy markets, food supplies, and international diplomacy. Supporters inside Russia viewed the campaign as protecting national security and resisting Western influence. Most Western governments and many international organizations described it as an illegal act of aggression.
I'm very disappointed with President Putin, and I thought he was somebody that meant what he said, and he'll talk so beautifully and then he'll bomb people at night. We don't like that.
Its consequences continue to unfold. Military power, however, is only part of Putin's influence. He has consistently framed politics as a contest between strength and weakness. In speeches, he frequently argues that nations unable to defend themselves eventually lose their independence. His public image reinforces that message. Images of horseback riding, martial arts, ice hockey, and outdoor survival have become symbols of a carefully cultivated persona designed to project discipline, resilience, and control. Whether spontaneous or strategic, they contribute to an image of a leader who values endurance and resolve. Yet leadership under pressure carries immense consequences. Every decision made inside the Kremlin echoes far beyond Russia's borders. Economic sanctions have affected businesses and families. Military operations have brought enormous human suffering. Diplomatic relations between Russia and many Western countries have reached levels of tension not seen for decades. Behind every geopolitical calculation are ordinary people whose lives are forever changed. Perhaps Putin's defining characteristic is patience. Rather than seeking rapid political victories, analysts often describe his approach as long-term and strategic. He has repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to absorb economic pressure, diplomatic isolation, and international criticism in pursuit of objectives he considers vital to Russia's interests. Whether this strategy ultimately strengthens or weakens Russia remains one of the defining questions of modern geopolitics. The debate surrounding Vladimir Putin is unlikely to end anytime soon. To some, he restored national confidence and challenged a world order they believed ignored Russian interests. To others, he bears responsibility for wars, repression, and a dangerous escalation of global tensions. History will continue to examine both narratives. What is beyond dispute is that his decisions have shaped the 21st century in profound ways. Few individuals have commanded the attention of intelligence agencies, military planners, diplomats, economists, and historians as consistently as Vladimir Putin. His story is not merely the biography of one man. It is the story of power, of national identity, of ambition, and of the immense consequences that can follow when the decisions of a single leader affect the lives of millions. As history continues to unfold, one question remains. When future generations look back at the Putin era, will they remember it as the restoration of a great power? Or as the period that permanently reshaped the global order through conflict, confrontation, and uncertainty? Only history can answer.